All right, so I have a book review on The Satanic Manual of the Abysmal Serpent by Augustine Moriar. And I got this book on October 31st, so I've taken my time, read through it, made my own notes, did a couple of the visuals and stuff in here. And what I like about this book is that it is good for Satanists that want to have their own practice, but they're probably like unsure of how to go about things because there's just so many ways that you could go about doing your practice. But I understand that a lot of us are lost, so it's like wherever would be a good idea to start from. So I think this is a good book to have. For those of us who already have our established practice, this is just will give us a couple of new ideas and everything about that. But we've already have it established. But if you want something to help you out to get yourself situated on a path and how to focus on your path, this is a good book to have. So it's a thickums. It's a nice little thick book. It has, not including the suggested reading, it has 265 pages. So I always love a good thick book. So of course in the back, my favorite thing is always the suggested reading because it's just more books you can buy. Majority of these books you should have, or you should have at least come across some of them. But if not, go ahead, get your list, write them down, get the books too. So I am actually in the coven. I did my initiation on the 31st. I did my self-initiation on the 31st and everything and did all that good stuff. So I'm actually in the coven. That still doesn't mean shit when it comes to doing a review. I can like you and still say what the fuck I want to say. So you go through the book and my copy is 70 out of 333. So, I got that one. It has pretty pictures, beautiful pictures in here. You have the table of contents that gives you quite a lot of information. When I got it, I wasn't expecting it to be this thick, but it really is. It goes through the introduction and everything. It goes through the degree system, which is a 10-level degree system for the Abysmal Serpent. Now, this is an actual coven. This isn't just, something that somebody thinks about and then, it's not done. No, this is an actual working coven that's on Facebook. We've met in person, so we've had meetings. So this is an actual, true, real life coven. So this is just the book explaining everything about it. So you have the degree system. It tells you all the 10 degree systems. Then it goes into the Serpent Initiate, and it gives you information about that. Then that's all. The first part of it is just pretty much giving you information about it. What it does is it ties this into the sphere of the cliff off. I'm just gonna call it the Q because I pronounce it differently every time, and I don't need to listen to y'all saying it's not pronounced that way. I don't give a fuck. It's called the Q, and you'll deal with it. So this one pretty much focuses on working with the Q and your shadow work to get yourself to where you need to gotta go. So then you go to the next chapter, which is welcoming you to the coven and everything. And it gives you, normal rules, which is the same as anybody. Have common fucking sense. Don't be a bitch and treat people how you want to be treated. I mean, it's just, I can't even say common sense anymore because some motherfuckers just ain't got no sense. It's stupid. But it's treating people how you want them to treat you, not how you think you should be treated no matter how you treat people. That's not how that works. So the philosophy of the Abysmal Serpent, this is the one part that I did want to read out. It says, the holy satanic philosophy of the Abysmal Serpent offers a transformative journey for those who seek to transcend their human limitations. By embracing the left-hand path of shadow work and magic, practitioners navigate the depths of the Q, guided by the Abysmal Serpent. Through this spiritual science, individuals unlock their true potential, merging ancient Gnostic beliefs with pagan rituals to create a path of self-discovery, personal growth, and spiritual enlightenment. By recognizing the oppressive nature of the demiurge, practitioners strive to liberate themselves from their grasp and reclaim their divine essence. So that is the basis of what the covenant is about. So it goes on, and there's a chapter on it says, from Christianity to Satanism, the challenges of changing faith. This is really good for people who were in the Abrahamic faith. I was not. Thankfully, I wasn't raised in it. I have no clue about any of it. Don't ask me anything about the Bible because I don't know shit, don't care to know shit, and really don't give a fuck about knowing shit. But for people who are switching or coming to realize that Christianity is not exactly where it is, Judaism, what's the other one? Islam isn't what it is for them, then this is going to help them switch their mind. It'll help reinforce that they are correct in wanting to live for themselves and live for somebody else. It talks about, guilt and shame and the fear of hell and damnation. So it's very opening for people who are in the faith and coming out of it. It's really good. And then he goes on to talk a little bit more about it. He talks about the self-empowerment. And again, you have pictures like these, which I just love. I've always loved pictures and paintings and drawings like that. We go to demonic worshiping, considerations like doing shadow work. Shadow work is very, very in-depth. It's very difficult, and it will have you upside down, thrown up all against the room, because it's a very difficult thing to get through. That's normally one of the biggest things of being on this path is that shadow work, to get yourself out of your head and realize that sometimes you were at fault, or the people that said shit were just wrong. So he goes into careful considerations about doing all this stuff, isolation, all that good stuff. Then we go to the theory of practice and magic. He gives, of course, holidays that the Abysmal Serpent have. So we have those right there. You can read it yourself. Get the book. Ritual, tools, colors, and numbers. Again, this is really a good book for people who are entering Satanism, Luciferianism, the isms, the occult, the esoteric, and they don't really know where to go or how to do it. You don't have to be a Satanist for this, because you have a lot of Luciferians that have a lot of satanic work. You have a lot of Satanists that go through Luciferian work. You don't have to be a Satanist. You just have to be somebody who want to do better for themselves, and this book will help guide you. You don't have to do all that other stuff. I don't care what nobody says. You don't. So he gives you everything here. It tells you the altar arrangement, how we situated our altars. Has pictures of his altar. His altar is very beautiful. And so you don't have to have it the same way he does. He just gives you an idea of what you could have. Like for me, I do not use a bell in my practice. I have never, ever, ever used a bell in my practice. Has it done anything wrong? Nope. I'm where I'm at, and I've been very successful in everything. I just do not resonate with the bell. So again, do not let people tell you have to have this. You don't have to have shit to do anything. This just tells you this is what it is. If you don't have some of the items, that is fine. That is okay. You're still going to get results, because it's going on what's in your heart. You do not have to have everything. Sometimes you can't have everything depending on your situation. So just know that. His altar is beautiful, and it does give you some things that you will want to have. Just go from there. So it also gives you the cardinal points. Every group is going to have different cardinal points. It's not always going to be Satan, Samael, Lilith, and Leviathan. It's not always going to be Belial, Behemoth, Leviathan, and Ashtaroth. It's not always going to be. Every group is going to have who they resonate with the word. So just understand, there's nothing wrong. If anything's different, is never anything wrong. It's just your preference to how everything goes. But he explains to you everything that they have, everything that you can do for your rituals, and who the coven uses. He does give you an example of creating an astral temple. An astral temple is a good. It's good to have, even have a physical temple, but it's even better if you don't have access to really put a physical temple. The astral temple is somewhere that you could always grasp. You could do your astral temple in the shower, while you're on the toilet, while you're cooking, while you're on a bus, while you go anywhere, and nobody will ever know, because it's none of their business. So he tells you how to create your own astral temple. And I like the visualization and everything for it, and it's really thought out. Then he goes on to the cue and the role in the Abysmal Serpent system, how to dive in. And what I appreciate about this one is that I went through the cue once. I don't know how the fuck I made it out, but I went through it. It took me like some years to go through it, but I went through it. And I can honestly tell you, I don't understand what the fuck I did when I went through it, because I didn't understand fully what it is. Because you know how you get some books and they love using the thesaurus, the dictionary, shit they be translating from another language to make them sound smart, and you just know that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yeah. Here, he breaks down what each sphere of the Q is, and I really, really appreciate that. So one of the rituals that I did perform was the Q middle pillar exercise, which is the Black Cross of Satan, and I did this when I was at work. I was in blood bank that day, and since it's a small hospital, I didn't really have to worry about a lot of patients or specimens coming in. So I was able to perform this at work in the middle of the workday with nobody around me because it was relatively quiet. So yeah, so I ended did that, and I felt really energized. This is right here that I wrote. I'm not gonna share or whatever, but I did write down everything that I experienced doing that. And mind you, I'm doing this at work in the hospital. At my time when I can relax, there's nothing going on, and I need to just calm myself down because it's working in the hospital is already hectic, toxic. Working in a lab is even worse. You know, I don't care what anybody say. You don't work in a lab, you don't know how horrible it is because we get shitted on by everybody. We get shit on by the nurses, the doctors, and we literally can't defend ourselves. Well, I know I can't because my manager already know how I am, and I already told one doctor he need to calm the fuck down, and she had to take the phone from me, and she was like, "Oh my god, you can't talk." I'm telling him that because you're not talking to me like that. So I did this, calm myself down. It was very relaxing. I really enjoyed it. Then he talks about the dark side, you know, with the Kabbalah and everything. And he just goes into more, talks about the Q meditation. And what I like is the associations. Now, the only thing that I did not, I'm not saying I did not like, but what I thought would have been easier is if it was just one chapter that should have been called the associations, planetary influences, sigil designs, and other with the Q, because you have all 10 spheres. And then he goes through and tells you the associations with each one. The MIL would have represents what's associated with, right? So you have those for all 10. And then you turn the page, and then you have the planetary influences, again, with all of one separate. Then you turn the page, and this is a prayer. And I like the prayers too. Very, very powerful prayers. And then you have another one for ideas for designs for the 10. And then you go again, and then it gives you more. And I kind of just wish that they were all in one section. Like you'll have a Thamiel, and it'll tell you all about the associations. Then it'll move down to the influences. Like everything for that sphere is right there in that sphere. Instead, if I'm wanting to understand more about it, I have to go to each section and keep writing back and forth, and then come back and write back and forth. That's the only thing that me being OCD. And I was diagnosed with OCD and OCPD. So that is the only thing that kind of just threw me off, because I'm like, now I have to keep going back and forth. But he gives you everything that you need to know about all 10 spheres, including the stones, the metals, the colors. Was it the demonic associations, the prayers? This tells you how to activate the frequencies, the mantras. I mean, all this. Let me make sure this is. Basically, all this is information about the cliff off the Q, and I appreciate that because not too many authors really go in depth. Sometimes they do, and I'm still a little. I am intelligent, I'm smart, but I'm also slow. So sometimes I need to break it down like I'm a kindergartner, not a fifth grader, but in kindergarten, 5 years old. Sometimes I need to break down just a little bit more. So I really appreciated that he actually took the time to break it out there. Then he goes into like the tree of death and everything, and how it was. Now, I do not believe in the fall of heaven, of Lucifer, was fighting with God. I don't believe in any of the bullshit. Never have, never will, because it doesn't make sense to me, because Christianity, as far as I know, has stolen from every other culture in the world, made their own, figure out how they want to make it to fit their agenda, fucked up everybody's shit, and then regurgitated, so now it doesn't make sense at all. So I will never believe in a fall of Satan fell and came in. I don't believe in that shit. Never have, never will. But if you do, that's you. I'm not gonna say that you're wrong, because you can't be wrong. That's what you believe. But I don't believe in it. So whenever I see that, I just keep it the fuck moving and be like, yeah, nah, I don't believe in it. So I don't pay anything in that in attention. But I know that it is kind of a part of people's growing up and out to faith, into finding something better. And I think if you could take that story and rework it into something that's better for you, that makes you a better person, then I say go for it, because it's all about taking what you were brainwashed, what you were shoved down your throat to believe, and then realizing something's amiss. I'm taking a look at the story again. Not that story is kind of full of shit. And then you're realizing, oh, this is how it happened. And, it may still be something that you see and can turn to your own. But I don't believe in it, so I don't pay no attention. But I do like how he explained it. It was just interesting to me. He then gives you a daily spiritual work for the adept of the Abysmal Serpent. And what caught me off guard is I found that the devotions remind me of the Muslim prayer, and it's not like that. It's the fact that he does them at 5 different times. So there's a morning devotion, an afternoon devotion, sunset devotion, midnight devotion, and a breakfast prayer. And I thought that was interesting. I will never do that. Why? I have too much stuff going on. I am actually about to switch over tonight, so I'll be working night shifts. And when I get up, I have academic school. I have occult school. I have a mentorship. I have classes that I teach, and I already sacrificed enough of my own time that what I did is I just put all these together. And even if you put them together, it's still a very beautiful rite. He has the ritual study, ritual practice, reflection of the self, and journaling, which is very, very important. I have tons of journals and shit that I write in. But what I also like is that he actually gives you the positions, like on how to stand when you do your prayers and like where to place your arm movements. Some books don't do that. They describe you. And see, baby, I'm not that smart. I can't keep reading the shit. I need pictures. I need pictures in all my books. I need to be able to physically see and make the connection in my brain. That's just how my mind works. So they give you, he gives you the positions of how to do your devotions and what you can say. And I really appreciate that. And then he has some more rituals in here. He has the art of conjuring, and everything in here is broken down so that you can really fully understand and pay attention to it. He gives you a simple example of a conjuration, how you can do it. He talks about the black flame, which everybody talks about, which is the black flame inside you. And yeah, I always highlight stuff because I like to go back and read. And what I'm gonna do is when I start going through the queue, I'm gonna go back and I already have everything marked. I'm gonna just write everything here, so that way it's easier for me to put everything there. So he has a few path workings, a few rituals in here, which again I appreciate. I'm starting to go back through some of the books I was reading and perform the rituals, because reading it and then like, oh, I'll come back. I'm not coming back. I have too much shit on my plate. I got so much stuff going on that I know I'm not coming back to do anything. So that's why it took me so long to review this book, because I took my time in reading it. I took my time in actually doing some of the rituals. I didn't do a lot of them, but I did a good amount of them. That's something else I'm going to talk to him about. So this one, he also talks about the portents of using the Watchers in theistic Satanism. So that is a very interesting one. And I'm not about to pronounce any of these names, but it is the fallen angels or Watchers of the Enoch. Don't ask me to pronounce any of these names. There is only one I work with. 2. Samael and Azazel. Those are the only 2 that I work with. I've come across a few of the other names before, but I haven't reached out. I have worked with some of the Enochian angels, and that has been probably some of the most painful workings in my life, because I had to adjust to their vibrations, and that shit is not for the weak. But I managed to still do it after testing, exactly realizing that there was something wrong with me, and get myself up there. But it is very interesting, because I've always been interested in working with them a lot more. I just never had the time to sit down and go through it. So it gives you a little bit information about the Enochians and everything, and the sphere that they work. And again, so you have the watch angel, you have the fallen angels or the watchers, then you have their eens. And you go a little bit further, he gives you the prayers for each one of them. So if you want to reach out to work with them and everything. He gives you everything that you need. He gives you a list of decoded words. One book that I don't have is the Essential Enochian Grimoire. I thought I had it. I'm about to have all my books in from DC. So I have the Complete Enochian Dictionary and then Enochian Vision Magic. And I have like 3 or 4 others, but I don't have the Essential Enochian Grimoire, which I'm kind of surprised. But it does give you a little way if you want to work with the Enochian angels, if that's for you. You do not have to work with them. Understand that. You don't have to work with anybody if you don't want to. It's just information of what they do in the coven. And then it goes more into the fallen watchers of the tree. So you get more information about them, their spheres in relation to the Q, their attributes, their stones, their ruling planets, colors, and everything. Again, a nice section about that. Not too many authors would do that. Then we go on to planetary magic, especially for people who aren't used to working with planets. I did have that one book, Planetary Magic by Denning Phillips, and I can't think of the other name. That's a real good in-depth book on planetary magic that I have came across. But here he gives you planetary magic, and he gives you just enough of what you need for the planets. So he gives you information about them. He gives you their properties, the ruling angel, all that stuff. So you can actually still do a little bit more of planetary magic. Then we have the demonic planetary magic as well for the Abysmal Serpent. So you have a nice little section over here too. Then we come to prayers and invocations. And I've always liked when books give you prayers to invocations, because sometimes you're like, you know what is it that I want to do? What is it that you're reading? And sometimes it'll resonate with you. You have a prayer to gain riches. You got a prayer to Lilith for protection of women. You got some prayers to fuck a nigga up. You got prayers to fuck a group of people up. Then you have a prayer to pretty much just get yourself together. Then you have the path to studying, which I enjoy. There's the one thing that's difficult about us is that we study. People think like we do that Hollywood shit. Like we wake up, and snap our hands and the demons appear and we hear all types of shit. No. I wake up, I make myself get out of bed, and I just sit on side of bed like, another day. I have candles I light, incense I can light. Do I always do it? No, I don't. Am I trying to get better? Yes, I am. And that's all that you can do. So it does give you things that you could do for your studying and just getting your space. I do workings and I do read a lot and I do a lot of writing. I just don't do a lot of incense work, which I find surprising since I have a damn incense store. I do incense and teas. I actually do a lot of teas, but I just don't do them all the time like I want to. I've gotten better, but not as good as I want to be. Then we go to the doctrine of theistic Satanism, and they talks about the Demerge, unleashing the chaos, understanding occult traditions. Then we have the rituals of the Abysmal Serpent. And these are like some heavy hitting ones. So opening the gates. If you haven't done ritual work like that before, I would not advise you opening a gate on your first time. You may fuck yourself up, and then you may not know how to close the gate or clean it properly. So if you do want to open gates, do it with a friend. Hell, even get online and FaceTime somebody so they can help you out. Just don't try it on your own if you've never done it before. Just a fair warning. If you like, oh, I'm good, I could do it, fuck it, do you? I don't care. It don't bother me. I'll still sleep good at night. But here we have opening of the gates, which is very in-depth. I appreciated this one. Then you have the Mass of the Abysmal Serpent. You have, this is one that if you're performing it by yourself, I will record. Because you won't be able to, I don't think you'll get as much, because I've done that before. I've had to record some rituals or some stuff that I've seen in books, because I just couldn't read and then it just didn't work. So it'll be good to record this one and just perform it. We have a modified version of the Enochian Keys. If you don't want to work with Enochian, leave it out. It's not going to benefit you if you don't believe in it, and adding it is just going to fuck you up. Then we have the Hand of Destruction. Again, you have beautiful graphics in this book. I've always loved books like that. So you have these pictures throughout the whole book. So you have the Hand of Destruction. You have the Opening of Gates. Again, if you're not used to opening gates, I wouldn't open any gates. You have the Satanic Benediction. You have the Self-Initiation. Okay, so, this crochets is heavy. All right, so here you have the Self-Initiation to the Abysmal Current. This is what this is. This is what I have performed for the coven. Is that you have the Satanic Initiation. It's on Facebook. You print out the paper, you read it, you recite it, and you set up your altar and you perform it. And that happens, and how we did it was that we recorded ourselves performing the ritual, and then we sent it in. It's like when I was when I got into the Temple of Ascending Flame. We still have to do like own initiation, but we do everything right down experiences, and we send it in. So the universe, the demons can be like, nah, this bitch lied, or nah, her heart wasn't in the right fucking place. So we gonna let you know right now that nah, it ain't good fit. But basically, that's pretty much what we have. So we did that. Then he just calls about the books, alchemy. He gets into a lot of good information here. Like I said, this is pretty much like a one shop stop. If you want to have your own practice, if you want to join a coven, if you want to see what it is. Now, I'll link the Facebook group in it. Actually, let me go to Facebook right now. This is a nice thick book too. So you hear me quick? So I'm going to tell you the name of the book. Not the book. But on Facebook, it's literally called The Satanic Coven of the Abysmal Serpent. The name, just take manual out and replace that with coven, and you'll find it on Facebook. That is the actual, that is the name of the group. Outside of that, we have, I'm trying to figure out a little bit. He has a, I hate when I sing this. There is a, Facebook really sucks when you're on phone. There is a blog site, and I believe the blog site is the Abysmal Serpent. Either way, I'm gonna write the name of the name of the coven in the description. I'm gonna give you the group, and I'm also going to. Okay, that's not it. Where is my other one? I have to go to my. No, not that dashboard. Oh, my blog site. Because my blog site, I have the link to the website of this. So I'll put that up there as well. So, do I like the book? Yeah, it's pretty decent. Would I get this to give it to somebody? I would get this book, and I would definitely give it to somebody. I will write down some information that's in here, but for the most part, this book would just stay on my shelf. Like, if anybody would want to know anything about different branches of Satanism, how people do it, or if they're interested in doing work with the Q, or they're just kind of lost and they're looking for something to guide them, I would give this to them. This is a book that I would have, like some of the other books I will have multiple copies on, and I'll just give them away, because some people really need structure, and this is a book that'll help you get structure. So I'm proud of him. He did good and writing his book and everything. And another good thing about it is that he has so much material left over that he actually has, I think, 2 other books out. So there's another book, and I think it's just is it just rituals? Because this book came from Thanatos Publishing. So let me go to my books. I never write anything the same name that I have now. That's a Scarlet Imprint. Serious. I'm proud of it. I thought I had this saved. I guess I didn't. Thanatos. See it? I forgot that fast. I'm special. Thanatos Publishing. So, I'll put that in the link to the phone link too. So yeah, okay. So we have the Abysmal Serpent. So this is the basic version. You do have the deluxe version. So this book cost $65. The deluxe version is $160, and you actually get something else. Then the second book that you have to pre-order, which I'm going to get, and I think I'm going to get the deluxe version of this book because I want it. And I've already written in this book, so I can't give this book to anybody. So I'll probably get a second copy because it's going to be mine. I wrote into it and everything. But I'm actually going to get the newer version, to get the the deluxe version of this one and the deluxe version of the other one, which is Dark Shades of the Soul. And I believe that this is the one that was written by him. I want to make sure. Yeah, this is it. So this is the second one, Dark Shades of the Soul. And again, the regular is $65, the deluxe is $160. And this book, I believe this book is just a whole bunch of rituals that he had. Okay, so this one delves into the practice. This second book delves into the practice of path working through the queue by way of scrying in the Black Mirror. So this is the Black Mirror one. So I just started working with mirrors after I traumatized the fuck out of myself damn near 20 years ago, pulling something through the mirror when I really didn't know how strong I was. Scared the shit out of me. Yeah, so now that I'm getting back into it, this is what this one is on. So you're just going to be scrying in a Black Mirror and working with the queue. So the book is 195 pages and everything. So yeah, and it has a lot of good stuff in here. So yeah, so I'm going to end up getting this one too. So I will link, I'm going to put copy of the Satanic Manual. Actually, I'm just going to do Thanatos Publishing because it's on the front page. So as soon as you go to Thanatos Publishing, you'll see his first book and his second book that's coming out. But all in all, good book, something that everybody can gravitate onto. It doesn't matter what path you're on. This book is going to help you. It's going to give you some type of information. I don't believe that there is not one book that I have not had information on. I've had a lot of books that have been pieces of shit, but guess what? I found some diamonds in that shit. So this one is a good book. I look forward to seeing what the other one is though, and I may have to set that aside with some other stuff for the queue because I think I have the Cliffotic Meditations from Ashnith. Yeah, I think I have a couple of those, so all that stuff to get on here. But all in all, if you got the money, get the book. You do not have to get the deluxe. I know everybody balling on the budget, but this is a good book to get. You can't go wrong with it. See you later.